It's time to aim the camera now, or as Honda calls it in this case, the multi-purpose camera. If we take a look, we can see that the box that is built is the same as the one we did for radar. So we've got all of that taken care of already. Still the same 4,000 millimeters to where the target is. Now the targets are different. We've got all of this set up again, ensuring that we've got the target centered with the center line and also on the mark that we drew on the floor. So that part we've already got done when we did the radar aiming. But now we have to change the target out. Not only are they different targets, but the pole itself is different. So we're going to need to remove that PVC pole with the radar target, and we're going to have to put a much taller aluminum pole in place. And then we're going to need to hang our targets. Now these targets are specific. Left target needs to have the 2 black spots on the top, the black mark on the bottom. The right target going to be the 2 white spots on the top and 1 white in the center on the bottom. So we'll go ahead and get the target set up now. I'm going to attempt to do this without disturbing that base. We don't have to run that center line and center this all over again. When you put the pole in, it has a pretty heavy collar or an insert in the bottom there that needs to be placed in the stand, otherwise this is going to be wobbly. Now the other thing you may have noticed, I've got a piece of tape put on there. That's because this does not fit extremely snug, I should say, in this pole without, or in the base without the tape. So put them in there. All right. He's in there nice and snug. Okay, this is the holder. Got a couple knobs here, a couple knobs there. You want to install it like that so that these knobs are facing up. When you do that, then there's not a problem with mixing up left target for right target, because again, it'll just work out that way. Now, as far as these go, these 2 screws here, this is going to hold the targets in place and also allow them to pivot one way or the other, this way, this direction. Now, we've got 2 here. What these are going to do is allow the overall target set to pivot like this, so we can get it level once it's on the target pole there. All right, this has a pointer as well. This is what holds it to the pole. So we're going to put this thing on the pole. I'm going to line the back of this pointer with 150 centimeters in this case. Could be beneficial to setting this up before you put it on the pole. Otherwise you've got to put the 2 together like that. If you try to hang one at a time, this whole thing's going to come over on you. So either set the targets in this holding fixture before you slide it on the pole, or do like I just did, put both targets in at the same time so it doesn't try toppling the pole over on you. This takes quite a long time to get these targets set up. So as you're putting them together, you can maybe speed things up a little bit. I need to make sure that this is vertical. This is vertical as well. I also need to make sure though that these 2 are falling right in about the same plane as that line that we've got right at our 4,000 millimeters. Next, we are going to make sure that these things are vertical. I'm going to place a level here and make sure that it is leveled. Actually, this one's pretty good. I'm going to snug him down tight then. Now this one. Okay, I'm off quite a bit here. All right, so hopefully you can see that bubble, definitely not centered. So I'm going to need to roll this until I get that centered. So I'm going to loosen this knob here a little bit. Now we're going to attempt to move, pivot this if you will, rotate it, whatever you want to call it, until I get that as close to centered as possible. So we've got both of them as vertical as we possibly can. Now, another thing it wants us to do is to ensure that both of them are 1,500 millimeters from the floor as measured to center of the target. Again, 1,500 millimeters, 150 centimeters. That one is off. This one's a little bit high. I'm going to need to loosen the pivot here. I've got 2 bolts, one here, one here. I'm going to need to loosen that and allow this to pivot. This one has to come down, this one has to come up. I've got just under 150 there, a little over 150. Now I'm a little over. Ooh, that looks real good there. The side, very close. I'm not going to do any more adjustment for that. Could move a little bit. Now, in order to do that, I can loosen these 2 screws. This one is slotted over here, which will allow this to move up and down. So place it on there. All right, I'm going to say that's level. Check the other one. That is real close there. I'm not going to adjust that. Okay, so now the last thing we need to do, we need to run plumb bobs. And we need to run the plumb bobs from each one of the targets. And the plumb bobs, ideally, will fall on this line. Okay, again, this piece of string at our 4,000 millimeters from the car. Okay, so let's try that. Now, some of the Honda information has you hanging this just in the center of this pole. Now, if you do that, you're not going to be on the line. So, to get you a little closer to the line, I am just going to run it off the target itself. Now, we'll do the same thing for the other side. Now, let's take a look. Okay, this one is just in front of the line. And that one over there is just behind it. All right, there he is, just behind it. And this one is just ahead of it. So I'm going to need to twist this thing while trying to maintain our 1,500 millimeters and get these as close to the line as possible. Now, we'll take a look at this one here. So if I move this one back, the one on the other side should move forward, and I'm just going to stop when these things are equidistant from that line and hopefully on the same side of it. There's that one. There's that one. We're going to say that is about the same distance and on the same side as this line. We're going to call that good. Target is set up. Time to go ahead and use the scan tool to tell it to aim. Okay, we're going to get ready to do the camera aiming. Okay, so we've done it. Vehicle stopped, parking brakes on, headlights off. Now we'll go ahead and begin this. All right, now the dash. You're liable to see some lights come on the dash. And we're done. Okay, so I hit OK. It'll probably tell me to turn the key off. All right, turn the ignition switch off. Wait for a little bit. Turn the ignition switch on. And we are done. So, a whole lot of work to set up and very little time to actually aim it once you hit the button.